Hi, I'm Mark, and today I want to, let's say quickly talk to you about Boris Johnson again. Some of you will now ask, why? Well, Boris Johnson is not finished with British politics, and it was no surprise that he even threatened Prime Minister Rishi Sunak in case of an agreement with the EU on the, for some, controversial Northern Ireland Protocol. By the way, the meeting between Sunak and the EU Commission President von der Leyen has not ended when I had to write and film this video, so I will have to talk about that topic tomorrow. But Johnson's return to power is indeed being discussed for months now, and he is doing everything to keep it that way. And that's why I want to remind everybody today who this Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson is. Boris Johnson, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, has been involved in several scandals throughout his political career. And that's why I start with some of the most notable scandals associated with Johnson. First, there's the Brexit campaign. During the Brexit campaign in 2016, Johnson made several controversial claims about the amount of money the UK sends to the EU, which were later found to be misleading. He was also accused of spreading false information about the impact of EU membership on the UK. And then there's his relationship with Jennifer Arcuri. In 2019, it was revealed that Johnson had a close personal relationship with Jennifer Arcuri, a technology entrepreneur, while he was mayor of London. It was alleged that he had used his position to help Arcuri secure public funding and access to trade missions, despite questions about her eligibility. And don't forget his Islamophobic comments. In 2018, Johnson was widely criticized for comments he made in an article in which he compared Muslim women who wear burqas to letterboxes and bank robbers. The comments were condemned by as many as racist and Islamophobic. And of course, there's his personal life. Johnson's personal life has also been the subject of scrutiny, with reports of extramarital affairs and a lack of financial transparency. In 2019, he was also accused of failing to declare potential conflicts of interest in relation to his role as a Member of Parliament. And of course, the COVID-19 pandemic. Johnson has been criticized for his government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic in the UK, including delays in implementing lockdown measures, shortages of personal protective equipment for healthcare workers, and confusion over government guidelines. And we all probably have not forgotten that Boris Johnson was a Prime Minister who was fined for breaking his own laws during the COVID pandemic. While others could not even visit their dying relatives, he was having parties at his seat of government. It's worth noting that Johnson and his supporters, of course, have denied many of these allegations and have defended his record in public office. However, his involvement in these scandals has led to questions about his judgment, honesty, and suitability for high office. And as I said, Boris Johnson played a prominent role in the campaign for the UK's referendum on its membership in the European Union in 2016. And that's why I made an overview of that as well. He was advocating for Brexit. Johnson was a vocal proponent of the campaign to leave the EU. He argued that leaving the EU would give the UK more control over its own affairs and allow it to strike new trade deals with other countries. He also criticized the EU's bureaucracy and regulatory burden as sovereignty. And in February 2016, Johnson announced that he would support the campaign to leave the EU and would campaign actively for a Leave vote. He joined the official Leave campaign, Vote Leave, and was widely seen as one of its leading figures, although he was not very sure until then. Making speeches and public appearances were one thing. Johnson made numerous speeches and public appearances throughout the referendum campaign, advocating for Brexit and highlighting what he saw as the benefits of leaving the EU. He also participated in several televised debates and interviews and was a regular presence in the media. And he made some controversial statements there. Johnson was known for his, let's say, colorful language and sometimes controversial statements during this campaign. For example, he drew criticism for comparing the EU's goals to those of Hitler and for suggesting that the UK could use the money it currently paid to the EU to fund its National Health Service, the famous Red Bus. Following the referendum, which saw the UK vote to leave the EU by a margin of 52 to 48%, Johnson was widely seen as one of the architects of the Leave victory. However, his role in the campaign also drew a lot of criticism from people who accused him of making misleading claims and promises about the benefits of Brexit, who argued rightly that his involvement had helped to fuel anti-immigrant sentiment and nationalism in the UK. Boris Johnson is indeed a British politician who has held a number of high-profile positions in UK government and politics, and I will just talk about some of them. He was a member of Parliament and still is. Johnson was first elected to the House of Commons, the lower chamber of the UK Parliament, in 2001, representing the Conservative Party in the constituency of Henley. He served as a backbench MP for several years, but quickly gained a reputation as a charismatic and outspoken figure. In 2008, Johnson ran for and won the election of Mayor of London, defeating the incumbent Labour Party candidate Ken Livingstone. He was re-elected as mayor in 2012, serving until 2016. During his time as mayor, Johnson oversaw a number of major projects and initiatives, including the introduction of a bike-sharing scheme, also the construction of a new cable car system, and the development of the Olympic Park for the 2012 Summer Olympics. You have to be the judgment of his success. And then he was member of cabinet. After leaving the mayor's office, Johnson returned to Parliament and was appointed to several positions in the Conservative Party-led government. He served as Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs from 2016 to 2018, representing the UK in international affairs and playing a key role in the country's negotiations to leave the European Union. Guess what he signed there? In July 2019, Johnson was elected leader of the Conservative Party, succeeding Theresa May as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He led the UK through the final stages of the Brexit negotiations and the country's withdrawal from the European Union on January 31st in 2020. He has also overseen the UK's response to the COVID-19 pandemic, including implementing a national lockdown, though late, and overseeing the rollout of vaccines. And in 2022, he had to resign because of the scandals I mentioned in the beginning of this video. And that man is the beacon of hope for the right wing of the Tories, and they really work on his return to power. Seriously? That is the man people want back. I cannot even imagine one sane person wanting him back. But that's the way it is. And as I said, because of the late meeting of Sunak and von der Leyen, I will have to talk about the results there. I still don't know when I'm filming this if there is any success in the negotiations. But if there is, I will have to talk about it at a later time, not today, because you hear it, I still have the mother of colds. It's quite tough and it will take some time to go away. I have it for a week now, and it's still keeping me from doing my full work I usually do. But I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.